Hi, I'm Jerry Sparks, President of AG Financial Insurance, and welcome to Risk Management Live. Today we have renowned attorney of the General Counsel of the Assemblies of God, Rich Hammer, and we have Mark Steinberg, Senior Vice President at Church Mutual Insurance Company. Today we've been doing business with them for a little over 11 years, and we've had great relationship. And we're going to talk a little bit today about why churches end up in court, and then we're going to go back to Church Mutual and find out what are the trends that are affecting claims right now, where the amount of money is being spent with Church Mutual on claims, and what they see as emerging trends, basically. So, Rich, we're going to start off with you first. What do you see as the top 5 reasons? I know you do a thorough study every year about this. What are the top 5 reasons that churches end up in court?
Okay, Jerry, for 22 years, I've done an annual review of every case involving churches in state and federal courts. It provides powerful information to point to risks that need to be taken most seriously. And it turns out that for 2015, which is the most recent year for which I have complete data, the number one reason that churches were in court, and by the way, this has been true for 21 of the last 22 years, has been child abuse, the sexual molestation of a minor in a church or in a church program or activity. So I think this indicates the importance of church leadership being vigilant with regard to this issue. I think sometimes fatigue sets in some churches. We don't need to take this seriously. That was for the 20 years ago. And in some cases, over time, the advocate in the church that has made sure the church is implementing appropriate procedural precautions moves to another community, and that there's a void. And will that be filled by somebody of the same passion and interest? So this litigation data shows the importance of remaining vigilant with regard to this most common reason that you're going to end up in court. And the good news is there are steps you can take to greatly minimize that risk. Now, the second most common reason churches were in court in 2015 are the whole variety of property-related disputes. Mark's going to address that here in a few minutes. The third is personal injuries. Those are your vehicular accidents and slips and falls on church property primarily. Number 4, zoning disputes with your local zoning authority. And number 5, disputes with your insurance carrier, which are often in the form of a declaratory judgment where you're just asking a court to determine coverage. So these are the top 5 reasons for 2015 that churches ended up in court.
So thanks, Rich. So Mark, we see that sexual abuse with a minor is the number one reason why churches end up in court. But when it comes to actual dollars spent in regards to the insurance company paying claims, what do you see as the top reason for claims as far as dollars that are being spent to protect churches?
Well, for Church Mutual, which the majority of our book is property, it's property claims. And those could be from fire, they could be from catastrophic activity, or they could be from theft. Our book of business with property is approximately $450 million of our total, which is $700 million. With that said, we're introducing new technology to address the property claims. One is sensor technology. We're partnering with Hartford Steam Boiler, an exclusive 3-year commitment where only Church Mutual can provide sensor technology, that being heat, water, or any kind of theft, movement in a worship facility. Our sensors detect it and they alert the church immediately, either by text, email, or phone call. We rolled this out approximately 6-7 months ago, and we now have close to 1,500 worship facilities that have elected it, and we are hopeful to be at 5,000 a year from now. So we're excited about that.
That's awesome.
In addition, we just started using drone technology to inspect roofs on some of our worship facilities, especially in the Southwest, where there's extensive hail damage, and also in Florida, and more importantly, when there is claims, when there is catastrophic activity, we are using the drones to look over where the damage is and send real-time live photos and film to our claims management team. And it's been wonderful to see how effective that type of technology is for our company. So
that's awesome. I know that so number one reason churches end up in lawsuit are sexual abuse with a minor. And I know that actually Church Mutual's been writing churches for 120 years. And they are the largest writer of churches in the United States, I believe. Is that correct?
That is correct. We have approximately 30% of the market share. As Jerry mentioned, this is our 120th anniversary, and our partnership with AG Financial, AG overall has been probably one of our most successful partner/relationships. We insure almost 4,000 AG facilities around the country and close to $22 million in premium. It's been a wonderful partnership, and the risk management services that AG provides through Jerry and his team have been outstanding. The best way to address a claim is never to have a claim, and you never have a claim if you have proper risk management practices. And Jerry and his team provide that year in, year out, and it's been very, very beneficial to both our organizations.
You know, that's one of the reasons why we actually probably do a Risk Management Live, is to try to minimize those claims. And if we don't hear about a claim because we prevented it, that's a good thing. So sexual abuse with a minor being the number one reason why churches end up in lawsuits. I know that we actually do background checks, we do reference checks, we ask no child to be left alone with a minor. And actually, Church Mutual has came alongside, and I actually had a church here just the other day. Because of your arrangement with a background check company to do low-cost background checks makes a huge, huge difference. I will tell you that, because I had a church hit me up the other day, and they said we were spending $14 a day, and we went down to $5 a day per person. So that's huge. Seeing that, and knowing that the number one reasons that churches end up in court is sexual abuse with a minor, what do you see with the AG, and what do you see as Church Mutual? Is that as much of a concern because of the risk management?
Obviously, it's always a concern from a sexual abuse, sexual molestation standpoint. But with the risk management practices and the background checks and the intention that that type of potential claim gets, we're very, very fortunate that we are able to team up with your organization and investigate immediately, or have any kind of alert or alarm that you or one of your churches brings to your attention, and we're able to investigate it and litigate it if necessary.
Thank you. So Rich, we just had a lawsuit in regards to sexual abuse, and I know you had to do some thorough research in regards to that lawsuit. Why don't you give us the trend that you saw when you went back and looked for this information, and let the churches know what you came up with as far as the general counsel was concerned?
As you know, Jerry, one of the things we had to determine was how many child abuse cases had been brought against the general counsel since our inception. And at first I thought, you got to be kidding me. And I had to go to a city square block, 4 stories tall warehouse that was unheated in December and search for every litigation file. It was miserable, but I emerged with tremendous information too, that I knew how many cases we'd had involving child abuse. And it's not a frequent claim. It turns out since our inception 103 years ago, we've had 39 claims out of 13,000 churches and 37,000 ministers. I'd compare that to any youth-serving organization, secular or religious. Bring them on. Let's compare the data. So that was powerful information. And so what does that prove? That we're doing something right in terms of the risk management. And, you know, my daughter, when she was young, when I'd come home from work in the evening, she would always ask me, Daddy, did you save anyone's life today? And I never knew exactly how to answer that question. I would often say, however, honey, I don't know if I saved any lives, but I know I made lives a lot better, and I protected a lot of innocent lives from harm for people that will never know. And so that's the thing with risk management. You never know who you're protecting, whose life you're saving from tragedy. But that's the goal we have. And I think the data illustrates that.
Yeah, actually, if I'm remembering correctly, there wasn't a single dollar paid out as far as a claim in regards to sexual abuse.
Yes, there were 39 cases over 103 years involving child abuse. Never, not in one case was the general counsel found to be liable. Most of the cases were dismissed but thrown out by a court or abandoned by the plaintiff and plaintiff's attorney because they realized with a little discovery of evidence that there's no basis for liability because of those risk management procedures that we have implemented.
And I will tell you that Rich and I started doing risk management probably right around 3 years ago, and I know that it's making a difference. And because we have, as Rich and I do a lot of talking with a lot of the organizations, we're having more and more people ask questions, and we're here to answer your questions. So I wanted to thank Mark for coming to talk to us about what's happening with Church Mutual and some of the trends that are happening and what's happening with claims. And Rich, just your wealth of information in regards to protecting the general counsel and the Assemblies of God churches that are out there.
Ultimately human life.
And ultimately human life. There you go. So we're glad that you joined us for Risk Management Live. If you have questions or concerns, please contact us. We appreciate you watching. Thank you.